In this video, I'm going to be covering how I use the Facebook Audience Insights tool to create groups of targeted interests for feeding into stage 1 and then potentially later stages 2 and 3 of my ad optimization funnel. Okay, so I'm going to start off over here in the Audience Insights tool, which is once you've set your business account up on Facebook, it will be at business.facebook.com/ads/audience_insights. Okay. And when you come in to start, you want to start with everyone on Facebook as your starting audience. Okay, so for the purposes of this this particular technique, I'm only going to be interested in the page likes page, okay, rather than any of the demographics or the other information available here. I'm just going to be basing all of the work I do on this page likes section. So very simply, when I go in, this is assuming I'm coming into a new niche that I don't know anything about, okay? So I'm going to start off with the very broadest level interest that I can think of for that niche, okay? So I'm going to use as an example the fishing niche. So I would come over to this left-hand side, and I'm going to leave all of the other information here, demographic information, the same. And I'm just going to type in my broad keyword and see what happens, okay? So in this case, fishing. And I'm going to click. And it's going to bring back all of the information on the fishing niche. And at the same time, so I've got the spreadsheet open on the other side, I'm going to be recording the information that I find from Audience Insights in my spreadsheet. So I'm going to start off at the top here typing fishing. Okay, so the first thing I'm interested in is the approximate size of the audience, which I'm given up here, 20 to 25 million monthly active people. So I'm going to write 20 million for the size. And I'm going to come over to the page likes section, okay? And the interesting bit here, if you scroll down, is the list of page likes. So these are the Facebook pages, like it tells you, that are likely to be relevant to your audience based on Facebook page likes. So the only thing I'm looking to do at this stage is to find a kind of seed for the rest of my research. So I want to find a targeted audience set which Facebook has determined to be relevant to my fishing audience, and I'm going to use that to progress. Okay, so if I just start at the top, the ones that it's telling me are relevant, and I'm going to look at them. This is just a news media website, so I'm not going to be interested in that. And another news website. And let's keep going down. Okay, so this is looking more likely. It's got a picture of a fisherman, anywhere we can catch fish. So this is looking like a decent kind of seed for the target audience that I'm after. Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy what I have here, ugly stick. And what I like to do is open up another tab with a separate version of the Audience Insights tool. So I'm just going to do, actually, I'm going to copy this, open up a new tab. Okay, so I've got another instance of the Audience Insights tool here. So come back over. So the first thing I need to check when I find this interested is if this interest is actually going to be targetable on Facebook, because the full list here will, not all of them you'll find will be actually targetable. So the way to find that out, I'll copy it, go over to my new Audience Insights here, and I'm going to paste that interest in. And if it appears, if Facebook finds that interest, like it has done here, then it means that it's going to be targetable in the Facebook ads. Okay, so I've got ugly stick as my first interest. I'm going to come over and paste that in the next column here, and the size is 1 to 1.5 million, so I'm going to put the size in here. And this in itself fits the criteria that I set up for starting the stage 1 ads. We've got this single precise interest that has monthly active 1 million. So we could use this to plug straight into one of our stage 1 ads. Okay. However, this is just the start, because what we're going to do now is come over to page likes, and we're going to start looking through the likes that are similar to ugly stick. And because we've now narrowed down into a specific fishing interest, we should find that we have a lot more relevant pages cropping up here. Okay, and this is also shown out or borne out in the fact that the affinity scores here are now 20 to 30, as opposed to with originally from the fishing broad keyword, we have the quite low affinities from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. Okay, and incidentally, what the affinity means, if you hover over the eye, how likely your audience is to like a given page compared to everyone on Facebook. Okay, so the higher the affinity, the more close the match from the like it shows here to the target audience, which in this case was Ugly Stick. Okay, so we're getting more precisely targeted interest groups. Okay, so we're now going to start going down the interest groups that have been shown to be highly relevant and with a high affinity to Ugly Stick. Okay, so the first one that's come back is Barkley Fishing, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open up another Audience Insights. And we're going to first check Barkley Fishing to see if it looks like, it obviously sounds like a relevant site or page, but we'll just check. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good, highly relevant fishing audience. So we'll pick up Barkley Fishing, and we're going to take that over, paste it in. Now, when I pasted it, nothing happened, which meant Barkley Fishing, as it has been written here, is not a targetable interest. So I'm just going to do some checks. When you see something like this happen, it's worth typing it in and seeing what happens. And in this case, you can see, in fact, it is targetable. At Barkley Fishing, it just has brackets when the interest actually appears as it would appear in the Ad Manager. Okay, so we've got Barkley Fishing. I'm going to copy this interest. We can see that it has 700,000 to 800,000 monthly active, so that's going to go along here in the next column. Barkley Fishing, and I'm going to paste it exactly as it is because I know that's going to be targetable in the Ad Manager. 700,000. Okay, so that's a next interest, and this process is now going to continue. So I'll come back over to where I had Ugly Stick and look at the next one, Abu Garcia. And again, a quick check on the page shows me this is indeed related to fishing and will be a good target audience. So I'm going to pick up Abu Garcia and bring that back over to the next one. I'm going to get rid of Barkley Fishing from here for the time being and check Abu Garcia, which is targetable, as you can see. So I can paste that in underneath Barkley Fishing, and it has an audience of 400,000, 450,000. And we come back again. Wired to Fish is the next one. Wired to Fish, the leading website in freshwater fishing, so that looks like another good audience. So we'll pick up Wired to Fish and bring it over here. Looks good, 350,000. We're going to paste it in. Okay, so you can see how, continuing down the line, we're just going to start going through all of the different likes that have been shown as relevant to our seed interest, which was Ugly Stick. We're going to check each one of them for relevance by glancing over the page, and we're then going to plug it in to check that it's targetable as a Facebook interest, and if all of those criteria are met, we will mark it down in our list. Okay, and we'll do this for as many of the interests that make sense for Ugly Stick. And I will tend to go down this list, you can click see more to get more, as long as there is a relatively high affinity score, and by that I usually mean around 10 to 15 or higher. So I will be recording all of those interests in my sheet. Bear in mind that once you've finished, you can start again. Okay, you can go back to the top level interest, fishing, and you can keep searching down all of these. There's Barkley Fishing cropped up again, but you can keep scrolling down until you find a new fishing interest that you don't already have. Okay, if you find that you've exhausted all of the fishing interests already, you can start with a new broad interest. So in this case, I might try angling. Okay, then if I put in angling, immediately we get back a new set. So we're going to recognize some of these from before, but we're going to get some new ones as well. Okay, so we start building up our spreadsheet of targeted interests. So from the left, we have the most broad, and as we head towards the right, we have more targeted. Okay, and then when you've gone through that process and you've exhausted your broad interests and you've gone down a level, you can now start going down the interests that you have in column E. So you can go start off with Abu Garcia, and and then you can start running down the page likes that crop up for Abu Garcia. And you'll find that at each stage of the process, as we head from left to right, the affinity scores are getting higher and higher. Okay, so where we started off on this side, well, angling was slightly more targeted than fishing, but we're getting affinity scores around the 20 mark. As we progress, we're now starting to get affinity scores in the 30, 40 mark, 50 mark. Okay, and as we keep going with this process, progressing from left to right, we're getting progressively more tightly targeted and more focused interest groups for our niche. Okay, so there's no limit to how far you can go with this, but to start off with, to plug into stage 1 of the optimization funnel, you're simply looking for 2 or 3 ad sets which are going to have audiences of at least 1 million. Okay, so you can do what you want at this point. You could use your ugly stick audience, you could use combinations of the ones from this point, and obviously you can do more research. Sometimes you might want to try broader, sometimes you might want to get a larger group of more tightly focused interests. It's entirely up to you. Those are all things for you to test at that stage 1 phase. Okay, so this is the end of the video about how I go about using the Facebook Audience Insights tool for creating groups of targeted interests to plug into my optimization funnel. I hope you got some value, and I'll see you in the next video.